Valley, hooey Hollywood, where any office boy...
Welcome in, everybody, to another week of That Movie Show. Mike Wendt and Eddie McCabe taking you through a interesting week of movie talk this week. Eddie, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. For the first time in over a year, it's been great.
Good.
Because this past weekend,
Yep.
they're much like that commercial that is a deep cut reference to Little Caesar's Pizza.
Okay.
There are no rules. You have to keep your shirt on, so there is one rule.
What are the rules? What are the rules?
Here's the thing. In Massachusetts, there aren't any. There aren't any anymore.
Hey, man, welcome to the club. Those of us watching from Florida are kind of laughing at y'all right now.
Yeah, I know. I went to the mall and just walked around without a mask for a while. It was great.
My God.
Yeah, it was great. It was absolutely fantastic. And then I had to watch this movie, which definitely took a left turn.
Definitely the best way to spend a holiday weekend is with a Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been well documented enough that I can't stand it. I just don't know what it is. I think it's the same issue that I have with M. Night Shyamalan.
Okay.
And so my issue with M. Night Shyamalan is that he got the directing thing, like the writer-director, like the twist. He got that right once.
Right.
And then people just kept trusting him to make here, we're just going to keep giving you money to write and direct and do the whole twist thing multiple times. And he just proved that he couldn't do it, right? And he was much better, he would be a much better director if somebody was in charge.
Right.
Like if there was somebody, not a director, because obviously he's directing. Sure. But somebody that is like a producer that's ahead of him, being like, no, and I got to rein him in. And Zack Snyder's the same way, because even this movie, it's oozing with style, but very little substance.
Right.
They
tried for substance.
Right. Again, and I tweeted this out while I was watching it. Uh-huh. Quentin Tarantino is a B movie director with A-list talent, right? Yes. He is a fantastic director, and he would absolutely crush anything and everything he did. But if he didn't have the talent that he had, that he does have, he would be making the ants that came from the hills and these weird spaghetti westerns that are direct to DVD, those not mockumentaries, those mockbusters. I don't know if
mockbusters.
I said that. Mockbusters. So instead of Transformers, it's Transmorphers.
Oh, I got you. So like Titanic 2, The Iceberg Strikes Back.
Yeah, stuff like that. So it's those type of things where they try to capture the hype of a major summer blockbuster, but they made it on the cheap, right? I remember they made a Thor movie. Yep. When the MCU released theirs, that sort of thing. Those are the type of movies he would be directing if he didn't have the talent that he has. Right. And Zack Snyder is a 14-year-old boy with an A-list budget. Right. It's apparent in this movie. The beginning of the one of the first things you see after
Are we just going to get into it? We're not going to talk about anything else. Fuck it. We're going to jump in. Yeah. All right, we're going to jump right into it. Army of the Dead.
As Vegas was walled off, with the zombies left inside to haunt the abandoned city.
Mr. Ward, how would you like to make $50 million?
On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness till boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces.
Think about
knowing what
everything we did, all those people we
by
saved.
the way they held their eyes.
Look what it got us.
If you don't mind my saying,
Now, what if
I can see you're out of ace.
What if just
For a
once
taste of your whiskey,
we did something just for us?
you sunrise.
You ready to play?
There's $200 million in the vault beneath the strip, with a 32-hour window to get it out. Find the safe. This should be a simple in and out.
It's not too late to go back.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
What the?
They're not what you think they are. They're smarter. They're faster. They're organized.
Best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep.
Oh, scheiße.
You got to know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough to count. When the deal's done.
What is this? It's a goddamn zombie tiger. That's crossing the line.
You got to know when to hold up, when to hold up, know when to fold up.
All right. Because I felt Eddie going off on a rant. We had to just start it up. So, again, so I could get my OCDs out of the way. Army of the Dead was released on Netflix May 14th, 2021. Had a budget $70 to $90 million. Box office of $1 million. I'm guessing that was that release it for 1 week type of thing in their Netflix theater, just so obviously they can get, award attraction for this.
Yeah, sure.
Written by Zack Snyder, Shay, Hatten, Joby, Harrell, directed by Zack Snyder. The best credit of them is director of photography, Zack Snyder. I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about that. Story by Zack Snyder. And it stars Dave Bautista, Ella Purnell, Anna de la Reguera, Theo Rossi, Tig Notaro, and a few other recognizable faces, but not big name type things. There was that one guy who got ate by the tiger that we'll talk about that, like, he's been in stuff. He's that guy. Yeah, he's that guy, which I think in the behind the scenes, he's like, this isn't the first time I've been eaten by a tiger. Like, what have you done, sir?
Yeah. What?
So yeah, Army of the Dead. Here, right off the bat, after watching it, 2.5 hours, it was too long, but you know what? After 4 hours and change of Zack Snyder, I'll take a 2.5 hour cut. Zack Snyder was definitely Zack Snydering all over the place. Yep. But my overall thought of this movie is, with the exception of the Dawn of the Dead remake, is this his best movie?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So objectively, this movie is like a B-, B.
Yeah.
For me. I think that out of all of his movies, and we're gonna rip this movie to shreds because
it's just
that's
too
what
easy.
we do on this show.
Too easy.
But
I
do want to say there's like a bunch of stuff. I think in terms of like story and style, this movie melds the best for him. Because I don't think that in, Sucker Punch, obviously, which I heard this week that he wants to release a long director's cut of Sucker Punch.
He did. The one I watched was the extended director's cut.
One even longer.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Please, whoever has the rights to that, do not give him more money to do these things.
Yeah, he wants to basically do the same thing with that he did with Justice League, is what I'm hearing. Now, again, It's from the internet, so I don't know how true that is. But yeah, he wants to do like reshoots.
Here's the problem with that. The internet is what got us the 4 hours Justice League, okay?
Yeah. Yeah,
don't give these people any more ammo.
Justice League.
Yeah, don't give them any more ammo.
Yeah. But this movie, from like style and substance, this melds very well for him, right? It feels like a cohesive story. I think, again, like I was saying before we broke for the trailer and business, somebody needs to rein him in. Because the first act of this movie is so long, and I've said it before on this show, and I'll say it a million more times, is like, this is a zombie movie. Get to the fucking. Right. Like, I don't need to see the Ocean's 11 team come together, because ultimately, I don't care how much you are paying these people. Right. And I don't, and none of this stuff, like the montage you did in the beginning where it was everybody like trying to leave Las Vegas and they were all like shooting their way out. And then it was cutting to them holding pictures of their family. Yeah. Like that was all I needed. And then,
and here's the thing, as far as the team up. Yeah, you're right. That opening bit, that was all we needed. Right before we started recording, I saw that there is going to be an animated series on Netflix, which I think is going to follow that portion of it. It's the initial zombie outbreak in Las Vegas with these characters. So I'm guessing it's going to be that. The team up part of it in the beginning, well, you didn't need it because the Oceans one is cool because the characters and the actors are cool. None of this was like, I don't care. I don't care. The best part about it was as we were texting, the Tig Notaro part.
Oh yeah.
And the funniest part was she was added way after it was all over.
Yeah, right. Her whole bit, like that's how I felt. Where she's like, I don't care. I hate my life and I don't care. Yeah. Like that is how I felt about the entire like team up sequence. Yeah. You know, I don't care that this guy's a YouTuber that kills zombies. Like, ultimately, that didn't matter.
Nope. You know? And that was the thing, because the crew that teams up is as expendable gets.
Right.
You didn't need any of the backstory because ultimately these people were just there to die.
Right.
You know? Like it's like I mean, I don't know. If you haven't seen it already, go watch it, I guess. I recommend watching. It's a fun ride for 2.5 hours.
Like I said,
we're going to do some spoiler stuff right now.
Yeah.
What's her name again here? Ana de la Reguera. I know her as Kenny Powers' girlfriend when he did the Mexico season.
Okay.
That she was in that. And that moment that you know exactly what I'm going for. There's a moment in the middle. They're already in Vegas. They fought their way into some tunnel under a casino. And all of a sudden, and this happened quite a bit, there was a stop in the movie. Everything got quiet. And Dave Bautista did drama.
Yeah.
And this part was where she all of a sudden turns and professes her love to him. And she's like, we're gonna have a great, happy life together and blah, blah, blah. Door opens. Zombie snaps her goddamn neck. I pissed myself laughing.
I laughed so hard. I laughed so hard.
These traumatic scenes didn't need to happen, but thank you for that one.
So, like, this is what I'm talking about with, like, the 14-year-old boy thing, right? Because that's exactly what happens. Yeah. Like, the time from her confessing her love for Dave Bautista to her getting her head turned around is 10 minutes.
1-2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean it's
like I love you, snap.
Yeah, it comes out of nowhere. You know, she's like, oh, like I didn't come for the money, I came for you. And it's just like, oh my God, like this is awful. First of all, this is awful that we're in the middle of this. And then it was just like, oh, she's going to die. Because for some odd reason we need emotional stakes for this.
Well, that was the weird thing about Bautista in this is like he was going for the drama. Like he definitely thought he was in another movie. Because like, I mean, the opening scene where he's crying and he's weeping and it's in slow motion. I mean, if it was a John Woo movie, there'd be doves flying over his head. I mean, he was going for it. And like I said, throughout this balls out action zombie shoot 'em up movie, there was every like 10, 20 minutes, there would be a pause for Dave Bautista to do drama with another actress. And it's like, one of these days when it's over, I'm going to open a food truck.
Well, it's
maybe sandwiches. And looks off in the distance. It's like, what movie are you in, Dave?
Well, it's like
this isn't going to be up for an Oscar. They're not going to be playing this with Glenn Close reading, and the Academy presents to Dave Bautista, Army of the Dead. I'm going to open a food truck one day because everybody loves goddamn lobster rolls. It's like, no, Dave.
Like,
this, because I think Dave can act. Dave can act. But this is the wrong movie for that. He's like going way too deep into it. It's comical. It's like
the problem
shocking.
The problem was he brought the same energy that he brought to the role in Blade Runner 2099. You know what I mean? Which was accurate and perfect, right? He was great in that. I haven't seen it, but I imagine he's the same in whatever James Bond movie he is.
I saw it. He was hilarious in it. I think he said maybe 2 words in the whole movie and was just basically, you know what he was like? Remember the James Bond henchman, the big Asian guy that threw his hat?
Oh, Odd Job.
Odd Job. He was basically Odd Job, and just he kept showing up like and I remember I was watching it with Will in the theater, and like all of a sudden we were like, we haven't seen Bautista in a while. And he shows up, does some badass shit, gets thrown out of a truck, and it's like 20 minutes later, he pops back up, and it's like, he was just like the Energizer Bunny of that movie, but didn't say a single word, but very just menacing.
But this, he's, so like in Blade Runner, plays an android that's going to get shut down, right? Like that's basically what his role is. And so like, there's a lot of that Blade Runner existential crisis nonsense that happens in those movies.
Sure.
And he plays it really well. It is really good, especially for a guy that's that size. Whereas, like, for this, Dave, I need you to not channel that, and I need you to channel more like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando.
Yeah.
Like that's the energy I need from you, I need Arnold Schwarzenegger Commando, because your daughter's here, you care for your daughter, you like her, you know what I mean? But otherwise, you're just like, I have to do the thing. I got to do the thing.
Yeah, it was definitely like it felt very, and just because of how, like I said, the movie stops for like 5 to 7 minutes every 20 minutes so he could do this. It's almost as if like these scenes weren't there, and Bautista went to him and was like, I really want to do some drama in this. Yeah. And Zack Snyder's like, I got it. Food truck. All right, cool, man. Cool, I've been waiting for this moment. Because that's how it felt. It was like these scenes just came out of nowhere. It's like bang, 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 zombie heads, blood flying everywhere. And all of a sudden they just duck into a corner. It's like, let me talk to you for a minute about life. What is happening?
Right. Well, and like in true Zack Snyder movie fashion, there's like 15 different like not things, but like emotions happening.
Sure.
Because then we cut to the like, oh, there's a pressure plate on the floor.
Yep.
And we have to like try and send a zombie down the hallway to like trigger all the traps so we know what it is.
It's basically fucking Indiana Jones, the opening of Indiana Jones.
Right. And it's like, it's comedy. This is a comedy thing that's happening.
Yep.
And it's just like, well, that's weird and stupid.
They're playing fetch with the zombie. Here's a hand. Sniff, sniff, sniff. Go get it.
Yeah, they microwave the hand.
Yes.
They microwave the there are
because there's a working microwave in apocalyptic Las Vegas.
There are 2 things that I want to talk about, and I don't think we're gonna have to talk about them here because it's gonna like derail the whole episode. Sure. But there's one thing in this sequence where the guy talks about like time looping and stuff, which would have made this movie exponentially cooler. and then there's towards like the tail end of the movie, a zombie gets shot in the head.
Yeah.
And there's a moment that I want to talk about with those 2 things.
No, exactly what you mean.
Remind me to circle back around to those 2 things. But
we won't have a problem getting to the second one at least.
Mostly the first one here, because like I really want to touch on the camp, the camp in the beginning where it's like I don't understand the world we live in. Like,
you mean the quarantine camp?
Yeah, because like basically the army's transporting this zombie. It breaks out because married couples getting roadhead, as you do, and it.
By the way, music in this was A+.
Oh, A+.
All the Elvis stuff I'm there for, and then all the covers. They opened up with a Richard Cheese version of I forget Viva Las Vegas, I think. And I'm like, oh great, because Richard Cheese did Down with the Sickness in Dawn of the Dead as well, the remake. And I'm a big Richard Cheese fan. He's a lounge singer that covers like popular hits.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It's awesome. Really, so I'm like, I'm all in on the music.
Right.
But yes, Roadhead causes the outbreak.
Yeah, it causes the outbreak. And like, I get it. Like, basically Vegas starts to get overrun. So they try to get everybody out.
Sure.
They try to get everybody out. And now there's just this refugee camp right outside Las Vegas.
That's where I was a little confused. Okay. Cause this plays into the beginning and then the very end.
Right.
So okay, I get it. You got to get everybody out. You got to quarantine them. But did they literally have to be quarantined on the opposite side of the wall?
Right.
It was super close. Like literally, it's like you're touching the wall that is holding back the zombie apocalypse. Why do we need the quarantine camp right there? Why not? Why not put it in Arizona?
It doesn't
or California? Because at the end, when they nuke Vegas.
Right.
You see we all know how nuclear bombs work because they're in the helicopter and someone says, oh, well, this is, it's Bautista. He gives his daughter the money. He's like, oh, this is the money to get her family out of the camp. I'm like, did you just see that bomb? That camp is dust right now, pal.
Well, and that's the big problem. That was the biggest problem of like the beginning of this movie where they like don't do a good enough job like showing the news clips. But if you're like really paying attention, like they talk about
special nuke that can only like target a certain point. It doesn't blow up a whole state.
No, the United States government plan was to just be like, yeah, we're just going to nuke Las Vegas and those people that are in that quarantine camp are going to die.
Oh, like, okay, so that was the plan. Okay.
That was the plan. And then like they're trying to tell the people like there's like political controversy as to like hasn't been an outbreak in the camp. They should be let go, like all that crap. And it's just
moved.
Yeah. And it was just like, this is stupid. Like this is like really dumb.
It was, and it was literally only there to drive the daughter's motivation.
Correct.
Plain and simple. Because she had a friend that was in the camp with her daughter that got brought into Vegas by the Coyote girl. And Theo Rossi, a juice from Sons of Anarchy, of course he has to be a rapist so that, we don't give a shit when he's sacrificed, which pretty awesome scene, by the way.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
And I was a little upset when he came back at the end. And I'm like, oh, because I was expecting like King Zombie because they carried him off like Jesus.
Right, sure.
Zack Snyder, Jesus.
Yeah, it's sad because I was hoping that like, we'll get to the zombies in a second, but it's just like, first of all, that actor just plays somebody that gets the shaft in everything.
Theo Rossi.
Yeah, Theo Rossi gets the shaft in everything he's in. I watched Hawaii 5-0, got the shaft in Hawaii 5-0, like the whole thing. The whole thing was crazy. Like, he was this convict that was getting transferred to Hawaii, and his, like, air marshal that was accompanying him, like, went to the bathroom and then got murdered. And then the guy that murdered him was like, you gotta come with me. And so, like, he sprung him, and he was just like, I don't know what's happening. So, it was an interesting thing. But he always gets the shaft and everything. So I was just like, oh, of course. But he's so creepy unnecessarily at the beginning of this movie.
Like I said, that they had to make him a rapist. So because when they do the sacrifice, you can't because, and I think also part of it, like also that character has to, be that creepy so that we don't care. But then it's like, oh, you cast Theo Rossi. Like everyone loves this guy. You got to make him a horrible human being so we're happy he gets eaten by zombies.
Right. Right. And so, yeah, but there's like this kind, like the weird thing is that like everybody's trapped in this like quarantine camp.
Sure.
But if you go in through, like, use the Coyote to like go into the camp, like you can get to one of the hotels. Yeah, super easy. Like she just happens to have a key to one of the lockers and can just like walk through the shipping container, like,
and just
like
seems
no
to
big
do
deal.
it on the regular.
On the regular.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you go into the like Vegas, get to one of the casinos, steal the money, and then like you can buy your way out, it seems like super simple.
I guess. I mean, it's probably like anything else. I mean, it's it's a corrupt government thing. So yeah, sure, bribing your way out of it, I'm sure works. I'm not sure the big boss's motivation for setting up this Ocean's 11's team. He seems like he's a really rich dude, and he lives in the end, and he's got his mansion and his whiskey as he watches the place burn. It's like, did you knew this was a suicide mission?
Also, like,
go ahead, I think you're gonna say the same thing I'm gonna say.
There's no reason for the cover up. Like,
well, that's not what I was gonna go with. But
yeah.
What do you mean?
So like, the whole thing is that the guy, the big Japanese boss guy, is sending this team in to basically break into a vault.
Yep.
To break into a vault, and then what they're going to do is steal the money, and everybody gets a cut of the money because there's just millions of dollars sitting in this bank vault in Vegas, as you would imagine there would be if Vegas just shut down and no one could get in. Logic. And then there's this just like secret secondary plot.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, all right, I need to get the head of the female zombie. And it's like, why didn't you just say that?
I will go with that. That one kind of makes a little bit of sense. Like, I get it. The government, well, obviously these are smart zombies now. They're stronger, they're faster, they're smart, literally.
They're
intelligent. They have a hierarchy and all that stuff. I get that part. I get, taking the brain and doing research and all that stuff. Why not tell the team? Because it seems like the team is driven by money. So if you were like, this is actually a government thing, they'd be like, fuck that, I'm not going in there.
Well, the thing is it's just like, if you're going to pay them. You're going to pay them. And so if I'm going to give you the money, whether I'm sending you in, because like, it would have seemed super easy to capture the queen. That seems like that was like a thing that the Coyote knew how to do, was to like summon her and get her to show up. And so it's like, that would have been super easy if the plan was just like, let's just get this lady, because you would have been able to bag her, shoot the tiger, shoot the other guy, and before anybody knew what the hell was happening, like, you could have been back out that door.
Yeah, but they would have had to get the money too.
I don't think they need. Well, you just negate the money.
But that's the thing. If you're the rich big boss guy, would you want to give this team your money, or would you want to bait them with, hey, there's millions of dollars of not my money that you can keep?
Yeah. The thing is,
knowing full well they're all gonna die.
Yeah. The thing is that he sent in teams before.
Yeah, I kind of missed that part. You mentioned that.
So they get to the hotel and they get like near the safe, into that hallway of the safe, and they get through this first door and they get to the second gate, and the black guy comes in and starts talking about how like, this is us, it's this circle of time and all this other stuff.
Right.
And that's the thing, is like, oh, that concept would have been really cool if that was a thing that kept happening, is that they were in a time loop of some kind and they all kept dying over and over again.
Same people, you mean?
Same people.
Oh,
it would have been, that would have been a really fun twist that we
I do remember that. Yeah. The dead bot, the skeletons and stuff. Yeah.
And so the basically what he's saying is that, and they talked about it because they found the blueprints right before that, the safe. And
it's basically Running Man.
Right.
Here's last season's winners, and it's the skeletons in the closet.
Right. He keeps sending people in, trying to get this money.
Sure. But
really, he's trying to get the zombie queen. So, like, after sending 3 or 4 teams of people, why not just be like, look, here's the deal. This is what I want. I don't care.
You know why? Because story.
Yeah, I know.
Because movie has to movie.
Yeah, movie has to movie.
We got to separate these people. If they all work as a team, the movie's over in 20 minutes, and Zack Snyder can't do a 20-minute movie.
Yeah, no.
There's no way you can pad 2.5 hours if everybody's working together.
Yeah. Oh, God. I really hate the conflict between Dave Bautista and his daughter.
It's super forced.
Oh, it's so forced. It's so stupid. And then you find out that it's just a misunderstanding.
Complete misunderstanding. Because, the original reason he thought is ridiculous. Because you saw in the opening, it wasn't like he failed in any way. They're running out of Vegas. They're getting chased and grabbed by zombies. And yeah, her mom got grabbed by a zombie.
No, that wasn't her mom.
Who the fuck was that?
That was some lady.
Why was he crying? Why is Dave crying all the time?
Oh, I don't know.
No. By the way, we got
flesh.
a huge no in this one too, which I'm really have to get to.
Yes.
So who the hell was that?
I have no idea because the little girl died too.
Bunch of bullshit. I thought that was his wife and daughter.
No, because the lady and the little girl. I'm assuming that's mom and daughter. The girl runs in and then they squash her with the container.
Right, and he's sitting there watching, crying his ass off.
Couldn't save her. He couldn't save her. No, the mom was at the door. She turned into a zombie trying to break down the door, and he turned around and stabbed her in the brain.
Oh, was that dream sequence? The other crying scene where he's doing the slow-mo crying where there should have been doves over his head? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's the one.
I remember that one. All right.
And
the first one was more impactful. I felt that one a little bit more. I really felt that one, Dave.
Yeah, I felt that one. But it was just, and he just thought that the daughter hated him because he killed the mom. And she was just like, no, she was a zombie, you big muscled out idiot. Like, it was the fact that you weren't a dad after. And it's just like, I don't know. Maybe maybe you needed to be there for him emotionally because he just had to murder his wife. Like,
you know
what I mean? Like, maybe you're the terrible one in this.
I don't think there's any good people in this movie, but again, Zack Snyder universe.
Yeah.
So not everybody's great. So then we get that team up, which caused a lot of dramatic breaks in the movie.
Yeah.
We got the Coyote and the government guy, which I think they might have been my favorite team up just because of all the action they do. Like the garrote that cuts off the queen's head. Awesome. Yeah. The whole side plot, I'm all in on it. And then, of course, his death.
Yes.
We established very early on that, yes, the Siegfried and Roy tiger has been turned into a zombie and it exists. There's also horses, too, which is zombies.
Yeah.
But,
really cool.
But the tiger is really cool. And it's just kind of roaming Las Vegas, being an asshole, being a tiger.
Yeah.
And God damn, if it's not one of the better mauling scenes in movie history.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like, look, if we're going to pay for the CGI tiger, we're going to take our time with this.
It went long.
It wasn't one of those situations, because usually in those type of things, they don't want to pay for the CGI. So, like, the guy's standing there, and then you, like, see the tiger, and then it just, like, quickly blurs across the screen and takes the guy out, and you hear, like, screaming splatter of blood.
You'll get like a chest up close up of the guy, blood coming on his face, that sort of thing, and it's like, okay, we get it, he's being mauled. But this one, wide shot, full mauling, great
wide
stuff.
Shot. This is Tigers just picking this guy apart. It was
the one
awesome.
time Zack Snyder had the whole frame in focus. It was beautiful.
I know. Yeah. Let's finish the plot and then talk about that.
Yeah. So another team up was the YouTuber and then the safe cracker who was like a nerdy guy who never killed a zombie or shot a gun or anything like that. And like they're basically the odd couple that are bickering back and forth because the black guy's like the big muscle bound. I have my big saw and my gun, and then the nerd is like, oh, I'm gonna hit him in the head with a rock or something. I don't know. And so they're bickering back and forth the whole time. But then one saves the other saves the other. They play fetch with the zombie, and like basically by the end they become best friends when the nerd has to shove him into the vault and save him, and that was when we got the big no. And I'm just like, no.
Yeah. Well, it's like, that's so stupid. I don't know, like, dude, because he comes out in the end.
I don't remember your name.
Yeah. It's like, you watch that, and all I could think of was the Twilight Zone first.
Right.
The episode where the nuke goes off.
Yep.
But then, like, all the shenanigans happens with Big Muscly Dave and, like, his daughter and Tig and, like, all that, the Zombie King and all that nonsense.
Sure.
And And then he emerges from the vault after the nuclear warhead goes off.
Yep.
And I just go, false. You would die immediately of radiation poisoning.
Okay, well, not even that. And here's where I thought vaults are airtight.
Yeah, right.
He would have suffocated.
Yeah. Especially a Vegas vault.
Yep, he would have suffocated. But that's not fun. That's not a fun way to go out. And dying of radiation, not a fun way to go out. So yes. Also, again, yeah, okay, let's suspend disbelief. He gets out of the vault. Yeah, you're in a blast zone of a nuclear fucking warhead. I've seen Broken Arrow. That ain't good, pal.
Yeah. You immediately, maybe the vault saved you from the
blast. Right.
From the blast. Like, maybe that's what happened.
But you take a step out, you turn to Melting Man from RoboCop.
Right. Yeah.
Help me.
Yeah. You're donezo. You're donezo. Let alone have enough stamina and ability to walk out, get to a car, drive to Utah, get a plane, and then realize that the zombie king bit you.
Yep. So he goes to Utah. That was an interesting one.
Go for 2.
Utah. Give it 2. And then rents a private jet because yes, he has all the money because he comes out of the vault and decides to take bags and bags of money. So he rents a private jet. I thought there was going to be, I didn't expect the bite twist. I definitely thought the 2 stewardesses were poisoning him because they were acting shady about, well, we can't have a drink. And then they kind of they almost half sipped and he gulps the whole thing and then falls. I'm like, oh, they're going to drug him. The big boss knows he has the money, blah, 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 blah. That's where the cliffhanger is going to come. But no, the cliffhanger comes with he goes to the bathroom and he's got a bite on his arm. So he's now the king zombie, apparently.
Yeah, he's going to be the king zombie because that's the thing. So the cool thing that Zack Snyder did, because again, there's an A+ movie in here, in all Zack Snyder movies. It just wasn't workshopped enough. It just wasn't workshopped.
It's a solid streaming follow-up to the Dawn of the Dead remake because those zombies were faster, they were running, they were starting to evolve, and that one ended again with a cliffhanger when they, the dad from Modern Family takes his boat to the island and the zombies are there as well. So it's okay, zombies still exist out in the world type of thing, and they're still fast and they're learning, et cetera, et cetera. So I liked that this was a thing, and I liked that. Again, he's trying to build some kind of universe. He's already got the fucking TV show coming, the animated show. Right. So if Netflix keeps giving him money, he's going to keep churning out these, which again, I'm fine with because since Dawn of the Dead, this is the best Zack Snyder movie. Right. And I think my biggest gripe, the pacing, a little bit long, needed to chop a lot of the drama out of the Bautista scenes. But my biggest thing was he needs someone to write the dialogue for him. Yeah. The dialogue was so after school special, a very special episode of Zombie Apocalypse. It was so beat you over the head with all of it. Not even exposition, just everything was basically spoon-fed to you through the dialogue. Right. It was so clunky. Oh,
they right in the first lines of the movie when they the big Japanese boss guy comes in and starts talking to Dave. He's just he starts listing off Dave Bautista's jacket. Yeah. So that, that's exposition 101. And then Dave's just I know my record.
Yep.
Oh, that's terrible dialogue.
And it's when he turns and kind of gazes off half in the shadows sure, I used to be a soldier once.
Yeah.
And it's stop being dramatic, Dave. You're in a zombie movie.
That was a long time ago.
Long time ago. just doing Trey Parker.
Yeah. What?
Sure. Once.
Yeah. And then every single person that you look up, Tig, I hate my life. My life is terrible, and I just want the money so I don't have to live this life anymore.
I mean, Tig was the best part of it. Definitely. I guess it's a good thing that the character that she's playing was mostly on her own. I mean, I don't even know if that's how the original movie went or if they just kind of handcrafted those scenes for her, because obviously she was replacing Chris D'Elia, who is, go Google him, he's got problems. He's problematic. but her replacing him, seamless in the scenes with people.
Right.
All of it was very, very seamless. And yeah, most of her time is spent by herself with a helicopter, basically.
Right.
And then at the end, she's helping them escape, but it's always, over the shoulders and out of focus and, reverse shots and stuff like that. So it worked perfectly. I think there was only like 1 or 2 shots where she was with the team. And I was like, that's fucking, that's awesome.
I didn't even know. Know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I think like months after they finished filming, again, Chris D'Elia was problematic, so they had to take him out of the movie. So they basically green screen, basically what Zack Snyder did for Justice League with the additional scenes where, he would basically set up a green screen in his driveway and filmed all the stuff. He did the same thing with Tig Notaro and for this movie. So and yeah, it worked friggin' seamlessly, and a lot of it's a better movie than I think we're leading on. That's the thing.
Yeah, again,
I do recommend watching it. It's a fun 2.5 hours.
The more we talk about it, and the more I think about it, the rating keeps going up. Like, this is a solid B movie.
Yeah.
You know what
especially
I mean?
Because it's streaming on Netflix. Especially because we're not spending $23 to go see it. It's like, all right, it's there, 2.5 hours. Like, I watched the fucking Friends reunion for 2 hours, and I'm not a Friends fan, but that's what we do with streaming now. We watch stuff, and there's it's worth turning your brain off for a couple hours and enjoying shoot 'em up and then laughing at Bautista do drama.
Which my June is going to be full of that, but I'll tell you about that at the end of the show.
All right.
Because I can't wait for this.
Right.
But this movie is really good. Like you said, and I wholeheartedly agree. I think that this is the best movie Zack Snyder has made since Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
There
was I don't know if you got it, but as soon as it ended, I got let me watch the behind the scenes. It's like a 30-minute behind the scenes special. And again, it's I was texting you when I was watching it. It's like, the shitty part about it is I think we would get along with Zack Snyder. He's such a fucking film nerd. It's not even funny. Like, he was sitting there with his red camera, and he's like, and I got these lenses off of eBay, and they were made in Japan, and I had them fitted for a cinema lens, and it's like really fucking, and I'm sitting there like, oh, that's Eddie. like you guys would be best friends.
And again, so I guess my frustration with Zack Snyder comes from the fact that it's the same place that is annoying with Adam Sandler, right? Adam Sandler, at this point in his career, makes movies so that he can hang out with his friends and go to fun places. That is it. That is 100% it. It's like, because they're going to make money.
Yep.
He gets to hang out with his friends.
Yep.
And they all get to fuck around and make a movie, which they all enjoy doing. Like, that is what it is. And so Zack Snyder, like, you can tell everything in this movie and everything that Zack Snyder does is very much just like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if, like...
You have to watch the behind the scenes because he's literally doing that. And it's endearing, especially coming from our background, to watch him as he sits there actually holding the camera and really getting in and like, wait a minute, and then just kind of whips it, and it's like, oh, he loves every part of this, and it's really kind of endearing.
Yeah.
And I guess same as Adam Sandler with Zack Snyder, A, it seems really fun to play in the Netflix sandbox.
Yeah.
And B, a built-in fan base gets you paid.
Yes.
like holy shit. Like, between him on Twitter and then his wife is in a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and my God, she is a Zack Snyder hype machine. Every word that comes out of her mouth, every syllable is done to pump him up. It's like, I'm watching and be like, wow, I have never seen two people more in each other's corner. Like, that's like, watching it's like, that's awesome. And he really seems to be having fun when he's doing this. I'm like, all right, he's not a great filmmaker, but he's enjoying the shit out of it.
Yeah. Well, and it's just like, because I watched it, and there were so many scenes, and like, they shot with such a shallow depth of field that at times I really like, like and it's not like I emulated Zack Snyder on this, but it's just like, sometimes I try to shoot as wide open as possible.
Right.
And so I get that really shallow depth of field. And, there's parts where, like, he has the zombie queen, like, her face is just in focus and everything else is super out of focus. And then she, like, slinks back and everything's just, like, super out of focus. And it's just like, fuck. Like,
like, oh, he did something there, didn't he?
Like, fuck. Like, I get 1,000% what you're doing, and it fucking worked. Like,
worked.
The wide shots when, like, there's multiple people in it is, like, traditional, right? Sure. Like, traditional, like, those things are in focus, and you get that, and it is what it is.
Again, if you're going to have a Tiger Eater guy, make it wide and in focus.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, when the characters are walking next to each other, everybody's in focus, like, that sort of stuff. But whenever it cuts to, like, a single shot of somebody or, like, a close-up, it's that incredibly shallow depth of field, and immediately it feels like this isolating thing where they're all on an island, and it's just like, oh, God, oh, man, like, you did it. You did. I get it. I get what you did, and it worked.
We can fuck with him all we want, but the dude has a vision for what he's doing. And, like, again, I really recommend you watch that, especially you watch that behind the scenes thing on Netflix, because you see it. You see it's like it doesn't matter whether we like it or not. He loves what he's doing, plain and simple. And he's putting his vision out there, which is like, all right, cool, man. Like, some of it doesn't work, and some of I like the depth of field thing, but there was a few times he did it a lot. Like, the depth of field was used as much as slow-mo in Justice League. Yes. And it's like, there was a couple times where nothing came into focus, and I'm like, what was that? Why did we do that? Like, I remember one specifically, it was right after they first came through into Vegas, and there was just, like, a complete blurry screen for, like, 10 seconds, and I'm like, it's the desert. Like, what do we, like... Come on, because you saw something move, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna come into focus, right? Right. And never did, and I'm just like, all right, well, that one didn't work, you know. And not all the time did it work, and sometimes you could tell they were cheating, because the one where I was like, oh, you're cheating with the depth of field thing was when one of the times where the military guy was holding the queen's head, and she was out of focus, and I'm like, oh, you're just hiding the animatronic.
Yeah.
The animatronic probably went a little wonky, and you're just hiding that, because that was an actual animatronic head, which was really fucking cool. It worked, you know. When in the close-ups it worked, but yeah, like it sucks, especially now. Like I said, watching that, it's like, yeah, Zack Snyder really loves what he does, and it's like, can't fuck with a guy with that.
Again, again, now watching this, right? Because I hated everything about the Justice League movie, right? So in my critique on that, I will admit that I probably got a little too angry. Also, I stand by everything I say about Sucker Punch.
Oh, it's terrible. It's an awful movie.
It's a garbage movie, right? And I stand by everything about that. But I think that, like, Zack Snyder needs somebody. Mm-hmm. And like, he just needs, like, somebody to step in to be that, not like completely antagonistic, but just be that yin to the yang, right?
The problem is the only name that keeps coming up I don't want to say, because he was notorious with being a overbearing producer.
Sure.
He owned Miramax.
Yeah.
Any of those indie films were cut to shit because Harvey wanted them cut to shit.
Yeah, and
sometimes that worked, because sometimes you do need to rein in the directors and stuff like that, and then sometimes it obviously didn't, and it changed the movie too much. But yeah, I think the same way. I've said it for years about Apatow. It's like, Apatow needs an editor to tell him, no, this is a comedy. It doesn't need to be 2.5 hours long.
Right.
These people aren't that interesting.
Same exact deal. Like, you know, obviously they're brothers, but it's like the Russo brothers work because it's two voices pulling in the same direction.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so you have one vision of what this movie is, but maybe two different ways to get there, right? And I think that for the better, the Russo brothers are able to execute at a very high level their movies. And so like Zack Snyder needs somebody. I think that I think if Zack Snyder all of a sudden went into television, right? And talk about like HBO television, FX, like one of these streaming service like series where maybe has the same boundary, he has the same limitless boundaries as a major motion picture, but has a television show and has a showrunner that's in charge. Yeah. Like, you know, and again, we bring him up all the time, but I mean, there's nothing like it in Hollywood where it's like he needs somebody like a Kevin Feige where it's just like, this is where we got to get to. Well, you know what I mean? Like, do whatever you want.
When you think about filmmakers and great filmmakers, a lot of them have a producing partner. You know, you think like Tarantino had Lawrence Bender, Kevin Smith had Scott Mosier. There's always that producing partner with them, and in his case, it's his wife. His wife is his producing partner, and as I said,
she's his hype house.
That's just it. It's like, while you guys seem to work well together, her just being completely on your side and 100% blind Zack Snyder cheerleader doesn't help when it comes to pacing a movie and being like, and making choices, as they say. Right. You know, it's like, do we really need the 6th stoppage in the movie so Bautista can talk about a food truck? At 5, I think is money.
Yeah, sure. You know, and that's I guess what I'm talking about is like his wife needs to be a little bit more assertive, right? And like keeping him on track. Because again, I've been that director, right? I shot a bunch of student films and projects and things like that. And obviously not the level of an A-list Netflix movie, right? But like I've been in that movie. Yeah, not yet. But I haven't, you know, like I've been that person where it's like me and the guy that I use, Tyler Adams, who like does a lot of my cinematography, we will get into this like hype circle where it's like, yeah, and then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do this, and like we shoot all of this stuff, and it's epic and it's crazy, and then you put it all together, and it's like, oh, none of this makes sense together. None of this. Like, we shot a documentary. We shot this documentary, and it made sense because it was about a couple of my friends from high school that are black belts, and they're going to a martial arts tournament. Like, that's what this documentary was about. It was for a class, and we shot so much cool stuff of them like fighting and like doing all this stuff, and it all made it into the movie, but there wasn't like any substance. like it wasn't a documentary in there. Like,
it was just a cool kung fu montage.
Yeah, it was just this really cool 35-minute kung fu montage. Like,
I'm not hating.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Set to like dope music and like, you know what I mean? And that's what happened, right? Because the two of us together were just like, oh, like we're just hyping each other up, like yeah, and then nothing got made. But then you bring my friend Stacy into this, and she's the person for me that when I start to go off the rails, she goes, hey, no. And I value her opinion so that...
Which is important as well.
Right. I value her opinion, and so it's not like some random asshole coming in being like, hey, you're doing this wrong. You know what I mean? Because then all of a sudden it's like, fuck you, this is my movie. You know what I mean? But having somebody's voice that you trust and respect allows them to rein you in and ultimately makes the project a little better. You know, you see it a lot of times, and it's in the script, right? He wrote the script. Sure. And again, I've been there. I know as the person who wrote the script what I'm trying to say. Sure. But you, as somebody who is watching it as a third party that hasn't lived with this script for a year, 3 years, 5 years, you don't know what I'm talking about. Right. You know what I mean? And so it's like having somebody to come in and have those fresh eyes to be able to just be like, hey, yeah, like there's too much emotional stuff happening with Bautista.
Right.
Pick one. You know, like pick one. right? Because the conflict with his daughter and you know what I mean? Like, that's weird. And then the resolution to that doesn't make really any sense. And then he's got food truck stuff. Like, the whole thing's weird, right? And so it's like, pick one. And again, that'll help. Excuse me. That'll help if you have somebody to kind of rein you in. And I think he would do wonders with that.
So before we wrap up, because we're pushing an hour, let's cover the casino shootout. Is this one or 3,000 Miles to Graceland? Which casino shootout do you prefer?
3,000 Miles to Graceland.
Okay.
But not to say that this one was bad in any way. Like, this one was badass.
It was super fun.
Super duper fun. Quickly, I think that it's insane that we get 2 hours into a 2.5 hour movie, and we introduce the concept of android zombies.
Android zombies. I thought I saw a mistake in the movie. Rolled it back. Nope. So Bautista and his daughter. No, maybe the daughter's not with him. It's Bautista and the Coyote. Bautista and the Coyote. And they're
YouTuber.
Yes, and they're on the casino floor, and they're shooting their way out. And the money bags are getting shot, so money is raining down in slow motion. Really cool. Batista's throwing card tables at people. He's just being massive. Zombies are just their heads are blowing up. The blood is going everywhere. It's badass. Like the definition of badass. And then there's one moment, because his gun jams or he runs out or something, he hops up on a table and just starts like throwing shit at people and reloads, turns, one shot, pop. And the zombie's head didn't explode with blood. All of a sudden, electrical sparks came out of his eye, and his head kind of peeled back to reveal almost a Terminator-like skull. And I'm like, okay, was that a robot?
Right.
And then it's never mentioned.
Never talked about. Yeah. And so I had an article, and it's a fucking robot. Like, they confirmed that it's a fucking robot. Like, so let me pull it up. Army of the Dead. The Dead.
In this movie, Zack Snyder has developed the concept that android zombies exist, but decided to not reference or explore it outside of one robot zombie getting shot in the head. I'm wildly curious how this works, because zombies, by definition, were people that got bit or whatever and are now undead, and have like rotting flesh. So literally he's saying that his zombie universe here is somehow also connected to a Terminator universe.
Yeah, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. But they basically, I saw it on Screen Rant, and they basically were like, that was a robot.
It was a straight robot
zombie. It's a real robot zombie. And it's just like, Zach, what are you doing?
My only hope is that in this animated series that's coming out, there's like a whole episode where they explore that shit, because you don't get to get away with that. Like, you don't get to just put a Terminator zombie in this movie for 1 second and kill it. And like, even Bautista, who shot it, wasn't like, was that a fucking robot? Like,
no,
I would have been.
It was the YouTuber, so he died.
And he died.
You know what I mean? Like, he died right there. But man, like, no, and that's the crazy part, is like, it's not like it was like a weird effect that kind of went awry.
That's what I thought. That's why I had to roll it back. But it was like, no. When you look at it, it's straight up a Terminator head underneath the
and it was slow motion.
Yeah,
it was slow motion and like very singled out.
It was because every other zombie that got shot in the head, blood sprays everywhere. This one, electrical sparks came out of the eyeball, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, you don't get to do that.
You don't get to do that 2 hours into the movie.
And not have any explanation behind it, because now I'm derailed, and your ending is coming up, and now all I'm thinking about is, that was a Terminator?
And then I'm looking at the photo right now, and it's on Screen Rant.
Okay.
But you see the eye is glowing blue.
Yep.
Like, the eye is glowing.
Yep.
And it's just like, what the what the fuck? Like,
I mean, if he wants to explore it, I'm here for it because it sounds weird as shit. And you know, I got nothing but time with Netflix, so
yeah.
Come on, man. You can't just drop that in like literally the last scene of the movie.
I have absolutely love the concept of this movie too. I don't think we touched on that. A heist movie in the midst of a zombie movie is absolutely fantastic.
It's interesting because unlike a lot of the other zombie TV shows or movies, it's kind of establishing that money is still important in the zombie apocalypse.
Right. Well, this world, it's contained.
Right.
You know, so like it doesn't seem like it's anywhere outside of Vegas. So like until the end of the movie, right? But so society hasn't collapsed yet. Is basically it, right? Like society hasn't devolved into like the Walking Dead type universe where everybody has to get out of the major cities. It's like, look, you're either a zombie inside Vegas, or you're in that camp, or you're flipping burgers down the street in Reno.
Right.
like that's
you're a trained killer flipping burgers angrily. Some greasy spoon.
Who absolutely hates it, but your dream is to open a food truck.
Yeah, I would like to I'd like to suggest that Dave Bautista's character has never seen a food truck, because if he's unhappy flipping burgers and sweating his ass off in a restaurant, try cramming the Hulk-sized person that he is into a food truck with a fucking kitchen.
It would look like Mr. Incredible in his car when he's going to work.
Yes.
Like, look, you're too large of a man for too small of a car.
Yeah.
Come on, big muscly Dave.
Yeah. No, that's not going to work. Everybody loves goddamn lobster rolls.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong, Dave, but come on, man. That's a little deep for your fucking final words.
Yeah, right.
Because Bautista dies in this as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody got the money. The Japanese guy didn't get his zombie head.
Well, apparently the stewardesses are going to get the money. Well, but he's going to fuck that plane up, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And he's going to turn into the zombie king in Mexico because they were on their descent to Mexico. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah, he's going to destroy that. Like, he's going to turn conveniently, and the prequel or the sequel is going to start with him destroying Mexico and starting that nonsense.
Building basically, it's going to be From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
But zombies instead of vampires.
Yeah.
Which, again, I'm fucking here for it.
Sure, man. Like
why not?
Here's the thing. I really like Netflix, in terms of their ability to say yes to stuff. Because, I don't know. I mean, probably after, I don't think a movie studio would have given Zack Snyder the money to make this and put it out in theaters.
You say that.
But when was the last time he had a theatrical release?
Well, that's true.
Justice League?
I mean, technically, it was probably the first Justice League.
Right? So, that was a critical bomb. He was cold since. The only thing that really kind of got him notoriety back was the Snyder Cut.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then the hype of the Snyder Cut got him this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't think that he would have gotten this if the Snyder Cut wasn't a thing.
Well, and that's the other thing. And I think a filmmaker like Zack Snyder, and I've referenced this when I've talked about Tarantino as well for kind of different reasons, but I think the streaming platforms are perfect for them.
Yes.
Quentin has said many times that he's going to do one more theatrical movie and then retire. And my feeling has always been, he's going to go do miniseries on Netflix.
Sure.
Because he clearly wants to tell 15-hour stories, but can't put those in movie theaters. Right. Zack Snyder feels very much the same way. Justice League is an example. The fact that this was 2:38 is another example. It's like he wants to tell longer stories. So, yeah, give him a streaming platform and give him a few episodes of a miniseries and let him have some fun. Because that seems to be also what both have talked about when they've done interviews about Netflix is it seems like Netflix stays out of their creative process. Like he said it in the behind the scenes thing. He's like, yeah, Netflix said yes, and then it kind of walked away. They let me do whatever the hell I wanted. I'm like, that sounds fucking awesome.
Netflix feels to me Netflix feels to me very much like if you can get the yes, they'll give you the money and you just make whatever you want because they need content.
Sure. Especially now.
Yeah. Especially now.
See, that's what we need. We need a campaign. Bring back Glow or whatever the fuck a cool hashtag would be for Glow.
Yeah.
Give me a Glow movie. They were already filming.
Yeah.
They were filming the final season. It was already filming. It was a great fucking show. They need to do something to finish that up.
Go to the finish.
Yeah, just give us the finish. They were already started. It wasn't like they were asking for another season. They just wanted to finish this one.
Yeah.
This story. Just give me that. Come on.
Right.
Come on, Netflix. Do the right thing. So,
yeah.
Is that Army of Dead?
That is Army of the Dead.
Okay. We have not talked about next week, but you said you were going to be watching shoot 'em ups in June. What's going on in June for you?
So in June, I am going to be watching all of the Fast and the Furious movies. I'm going to watch all of them because Fast 9 is coming out with John Cena as fucking John Toretto's brother. And
that makes sense.
Oh, look, here's the thing. This, we talk about movies that you have to, just turn your brain off. Just turn your brain off and watch them.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love the fact that this little movie that was a remake of Point Break, starring unknown actors, that was going to be this throwaway movie where this undercover cop started to investigate street racers stealing DVDs off of the
first
back.
one was so grounded.
Oh yeah, it's Point Break. This street racing gang are stealing DVD players.
Yep.
And this undercover cop finds them and befriends them, and then it's Point Break. It's Point Break from there. He's charismatic. He likes them. He learns more about himself. And then from there, it's fucking insane.
It's insane.
And somehow, my favorite part about it is that somehow that franchise got its second wind at episode 5. In the 5th movie, they got their second wind.
You know what it was?
The Rock.
The Rock showed up and said, "Oh no, fuck it. I'm gonna throw a helicopter with my hand."
So they were like, "Look, here's the deal. We're going to," because you watch the first one, and like I said, it's Point Break. It's just Point Break.
DVD players.
Yeah, it's DVD players and.
How does stealing DVD players turn into The Rock throwing a helicopter 5 movies later?
Right. Charlize Theron is here. It's weird.
Kurt Russell was in one of them, I think.
Maybe. But so there's that one. The second one, still fairly grounded. Paul Walker has to go undercover to stop a cartel. You know what I mean? So and he happens to be a fast driver. That's the thing. Is they just need a getaway driver for the drug thing that they're doing. And it's okay, sure, grounded. Tokyo Drift gets a little crazy, but none of the main players are in it. It's this weird Elseworld story until fucking Vin Diesel shows up at the end for no fucking reason. And, they basically ignore that one. They just keep ignoring it.
They ignore it until Statham shows up in a post-credit scene of I think it might have been 5 and kills the guy from Tokyo Drift. And then they're all of a sudden be Tokyo Drift was actually a prequel to the sequel to the prequel. And all of a sudden there's a fucking time paradox in these movies. I was what is going on? Justice for Han was a thing. The cast was pissed for some reason. I'm I don't know what is happening here.
Yeah, it was wild. And then the 4th movie, they brought the entire main cast back together. Okay. And it's still kind of grounded. It it's still a movie, right? It's still a movie, so there's still some race and things that don't make sense, but it's fairly grounded for what it is. And then the 5th one happens.
Yep. Rock, Ronda Rousey. Was Gina Carano in that one too?
I don't remember.
She showed up in one of them, I think.
The big thing with this movie is that they are driving 2 Dodge Chargers that are attached to a giant ass safe, just going through Brazil.
Yep.
And it's destroying everything.
Yep.
Like a giant wrecking ball. And it's just this movie's batshit crazy. This movie.
So basically, they saw the ending to Bad Boys 2 and was we can do 2 hours of that.
Yeah. Hold our beer.
Hold our beer.
And then from there, we're off to the races.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they're running away from a submarine at one point on like ice.
Someone flies a tank at one point, like there's a tank being flown by a helicopter. Buildings crash, cars, gravity and logic mean nothing in these movies. Physics is insane.
Yeah, so I'm gonna watch all of the Fast and the Furious movies. I'm gonna watch all of them.
Fantastic. What streaming service are they on?
I'm gonna buy them on Blu-ray.
Oh, fair enough. Good job. Physical media. I like it.
Yeah, so that's the big thing. We haven't actually talked about that, and I know that we're like way over time, but I've started collecting physical media.
I couldn't be prouder.
I know.
I'm taking some responsibility in this.
You should have all the responsibility. That's 100% what it is. Is like I've been loving the DVD or the streaming services and being able to watch it, especially Disney Plus, and like being able to watch all of the stuff. The problem is that like none of the DVD features are on there. Disney is better at it, but they're not on most streaming services. Right. And being able to watch like WandaVision and then having the like building MCU documentary that they're doing after all of these shows, and like, oh man, I really miss DVD commentary and like director commentary and stuff. So it started with the MCU movies. I've been buying all of the MCU. I'm in the middle of phase 3 right now. I just picked up Doctor Strange and Guardians 2. And then when I was there, I also purchased The Godfather on Blu-ray, one of the like those crazy editions of The Godfather. Sure. And then I was like, oh, the original Fast and the Furious movie is only $3. I guess I'm gonna watch all of them now.
Okay, so we were supposed to do the original one when Hobbs and Shaw came out. I don't think we ever did we?
I don't think we ever did.
All right, so you want to start off next week with Fast and the Furious?
Sure.
All right.
Sure. Also, I have a pilot episode of a new show that I dropped yesterday. Right. Basically, through work, I'm working on some podcasting things through Improv Asylum, and the show that I'm pitching them is me and a friend of mine from high school are basically we're doing a show where he's an actual history teacher, a high school history teacher, and he's going to teach me history, and I'm going to be shitty the whole time. So it's on my Twitter. So just go to my Twitter at the Eddie McCabe, and the links are right there.
What's it called?
1 If by Land, 2 If by Tea.
Okay. Check it out. I'm going to check it out. How frequently are you going to be putting those out?
So hopefully we're going to do once a week. You know, it's timeless because it's all the stuff already happened.
Right.
You know, so we're, hopefully we'll get to once a week. But I wanted to get the pilot out now. And then we might actually get onto like a weekly schedule at the end of June because he's a teacher and school is ending. So, once he's out for the summer, we'll be able to actually start rolling once a week.
We'll keep an eye out for that. And coming up next week, we are doing Fast and the Furious as Eddie starts his Fast and the Furious binge of movies. Cannot wait. Thank you for joining us on That Movie Show for Army of the Dead. You can follow us on social media at Mike Wendt, at the Eddie McCabe, hashtag That Movie Show. ThatMovieShow.net is the website. Facebook.com/ThatMovieShowTV is the Facebook page. And you can recommend us reviewing anything, and we'll probably do it because, as you just heard, we just kind of work the shit out at the end of each episode. So we'll see you next week for Fast and the Furious.
Bye, everybody.
That's Movie Valley, Movie Hollywood, where any office boy or young McCabe